What's up, everybody? Today I'll be making Guyanese style beef patties, and this recipe is super simple and very, very delicious. You can find this recipe in this amazing book, The World Eats Here, and it is an amazing book because it has amazing recipes from vendors from all around the world. So if you want this book, I'll have it in the description below so you can purchase it, and it is a great read and has amazing recipes. So first up, I'll start by making the pastry. And for the tools, you'll need a food processor. You can also do this by hand, but it will take longer. I have a knife and a cutting board. I have a muffin pan, a regular size with 12 inserts. I have a rolling pin, a 1/4 cup measuring cup. And I have 2 punchers. I have one that's 3 inches and one that's 2 inches. You can also use cans or deli containers or whatever lids you have that measure about the same diameter as these two. For the ingredients, I have flour. I have ice cold water, and that is very important. I have salt and sugar. I have an egg and ice cold butter, which is very important. And I have some excess flour for rolling out of my pastry. So now I'll bring you in a little bit closer so you can see the mixing process. First up, I'll start by cutting my butter into nice small cubes. And you want them to be about a 1/4 inch cubes. So to my food processor, I'll be adding my flour, salt and sugar, and I'll blitz this together. So now I'll pulse this together. That's about 3 pulses. Next up, I'll be adding my butter, and I'll give this about maybe 10 pulses. And what you're looking for is nice little chunks. So now I'll add my egg. And I'll slowly add my 1/4 cup of water. So I'll just begin to pulse, and I'll add my water slowly. So now I'll bring you a little bit closer so you can see the texture of this dough. So before I add my pastry to the surface, I'll add some flour. And as you can see, it's nice and crumbly, and this is exactly what you're looking for. And now what I'll do is I'll start bringing this together. So what I'll try to do here is try to make a nice little disc, and I'm not gonna try to work this dough too much. So what I'll do is I'll add some more flour to my surface, and now I added a little bit more flour to my surface, and now I'll add some flour to my rolling pin and a little bit on top, and I'll roll this out just enough so that I can fold it over itself. So you're looking about maybe 16 inches in length. And I'll do this one more time before I refrigerate it. So you just need enough flour so it doesn't stick. Make sure you flour your rolling pin. And again, you'll roll this out. So now what I'll do is I'll place this in a refrigerator. You can put some plastic wrap on it and set it in there for about 15 to 30 minutes. So next up, we'll be making the filling for this delicious beef patty. I have some ground beef. I have some green seasoning. Of course, the recipe will be in the description below. I have some tomato paste, some paprika, brown sugar, salt, and black pepper. And I have a little bit of oil to bring together everything. For my tools, I have a wooden spoon. I have a nice little skillet or pot you can use, and a heating element, and this is all that you need for a delicious filling. So I'll bring you a little bit closer so you can see the process. So right now I have my skillet on medium heat, and to that I'll add my oil. Then I'll add my green seasoning. So now you'll let this cook through until it's nice and soft, and this will take about 2 minutes, and keep an eye on it because you don't want any browning to happen. So after about 2 minutes, I'll add my ground beef, and you want to break this up because you don't want any chunks in your patties. So this whole process of cooking your filling will take about 15 to 20 minutes, so not very long at all. So after about 5 minutes of cooking, as you can see, it's almost cooked through. Now I'll add my remaining ingredients. And of course my tomato paste. after about 15 minutes or so, your filling is done. Now you'll shut this off. And you can transfer your filling to a different container. So this ensures it cools faster. And now you'll let this cool until it comes to room temperature, or you can pop it in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. So next up, I'm ready to roll out my pastry. I'll add some flour to my surface. You don't need a lot of flour, just enough so it doesn't stick. So now from the top, I'll take my 2-inch puncher and start punching out my disc. And you're trying to get 12 of these. So now I have my 12 2-inch disc. Next up, I'll be using my 3-inch to punch out 12 more. So I have 7. At this stage, I'll bring this back together. I'll add some flour. And now I'll roll this out again to get my 5 more 3-inchers. So now what I'll do is I'll bring across my muffin pan and I'll line them with my beautiful 3-inchers on the bottom. And you just want to get just to the top of it. So after you've lined your muffin pan with your pastry on the bottom, you'll take your meat filling and evenly distribute it. So now at this stage, what I'll do is I'll take my lids, my 2-inchers, and put them on top of it. And I'll take a fork and I'll dip that in some flour and I'll press that in. You just want to close the corners or the edges. And I'll do that with all of these, so I'll place them on top. Next, I'll let this sit in the refrigerator for 15 minutes before I bake it in a 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. So now that your patties are chilled for about 15 minutes, you'll take some egg wash, and you'll brush on top of it. Now you're gonna place this in a 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. So here are your beautiful patties straight out of the oven. And what you'll do is you'll take them out of your muffin tin and you'll place them on a cooling rack, like so. So now you're gonna let these beautiful patties cool until they reach room temperature. Nice and beautiful, as you can see, crisp. So finally, here we are. Our beautiful beef patties are nice and cool, and they look and smell amazing. I promise you'll love this recipe. If you follow the techniques, you'll have amazing results. And again, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, drop some comments below, and please share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Now I'll try this delicious patty. Nice and crisp, beautiful flaky pastry. Now let's try it. I promise you'll love this pastry. It's flaky and delicious. Again, please make this recipe.